Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada. All glories to our beloved speaker for today, His Grace Madam Gopal Prabhu, who needs no introduction. Prabhuji has been so kind and so generous to us. He's been visiting us so many times and sharing his love and wisdom with us all for quite a long time. And again, we are honored to have him one more time before the year runs out. So Prabhuji, we're very grateful that we could have your association today. And without further ado, Prabhuji, you may take it over from here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Sadev Prabhu, and thank you, dear devotees, for joining. My obeisances to all of you. Like I was mentioning earlier to Sadev Prabhu, I just got back recently from a trip to Africa. We have some of our devotees here. Kirtida Sundari Mataji is in Eldoret. She was very instrumental in coordinating our trip there as well. We were there for some time and we visited 4 different cities: Nairobi, Eldoret, Nakuru, Mombasa. And I was just incredibly enlivened to see how much Krishna consciousness is thriving. I was born there in Kenya myself and raised there, and so it really means something deep in my heart to go back to my place where I grew up. Actually, so back to the house that I grew up in. I met some of many of my friends who were the devotees there, and we did do some Harinam events, and we did college preaching events, and it was just incredibly enlivening. And we can see how when we are close with nature, how we are close with our inner natures, that Krishna consciousness just takes such root in our hearts, and that's what I see there in Kenya and other places. So we're very fortunate that Srila Prabhupada went to these places where Prabhupada also visited. That Prabhupada has given his mercy in Africa in so many places and so many ways. He went twice at least to I'm just going to record this. No, yeah, it's going to be on YouTube so we can watch it there. To Kenya, even small towns like Eldoret and Mombasa. He spent, in fact, the longest place he spent outside of the US, really, in his entire last 12-year travels, was in Mombasa, one stretch. So it was quite nice to see that. So thank you again for organizing this. I hope that other devotees in Africa are able to, and more devotees in Africa can connect to this channel. What you do is very special. Thank you. So dear devotees, tonight let's enter a scene. Imagine the entire universe is like a vast open field at night. Billions of living entities moving, desiring, colliding, building plans, collapsing plans, chasing pleasure, fleeing pain. And beneath all this motion across the entire universe, there is something invisible, something more powerful than our intelligence, something more patient than our fleeting emotions, something more steady than our willpower. That is law. Not the law of a government or the law of a community, but the law of reality itself. Because in this universe, nobody is truly free to do whatever I want. You can't do that. Yes, we are free to desire, but we are not free to escape the consequences. We are free to choose. But we are not free to rewrite the structure of the world. We can dream, but we cannot cancel our karma. We can speak, but we cannot overrule the time factor. And then Srimad Bhagavatam places a startling image in our mind. It says in this verse, all the living entities within the universe are conducted by the Vedic directions, as a bull is directed by the rope attached to its nose. A bull is powerful. A bull can destroy. A bull can run. But a small rope attached to the most sensitive point here on the nose silently decides this way, not that way. Just let this image sit with you for a minute. Tonight's verse is not merely philosophy. It's a spiritual X-ray. It exposes the hidden mechanism by which the Supreme Lord guides the conditioned soul. Through Vedic direction, through Shastra, through divine law, through merciful regulation. And the demigods, the great controllers of universal management, they end this verse with a bow. It says, to the chief person who has contributed the Vedas, we offer our respect. So tonight we are not here to admire a rope. We are here to recognize the hand holding the rope. We are here to understand how Krishna leads the wandering bull of our minds back toward the pasture grounds of Goloka Vrindavan, the spiritual world of Vaikuntha. The theme of today's verses, the Vedas as the rope of mercy. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the verse assigned to me today is 3:15:8. Yasya vacha praja sarva gavastantyeva yantrita haranti balimayattas tasmai mukhayate namah. All the living entities within the universe are conducted by the Vedic directions, as a bull is directed by the rope attached to its nose. No one can violate the rules laid down in the Vedic literatures. To the chief person who has contributed the Vedas, we offer our respect. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Vedic literatures are the laws of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. one cannot violate the injunctions given in the Vedic literatures any more than one can violate the state laws. Any living creature who wants real benefit in life must act according to the direction of the Vedic literature. The conditioned souls who have come to this material world for material sense gratification are regulated by the injunctions of the Vedic literature. Sense gratification is just like salt. One cannot take too much or too little. But one must take some salt in order to make one's foodstuff palatable. Those conditioned souls who have come to this material world should utilize their senses according to the direction of the Vedic literature. Otherwise, they will be put into a more miserable condition of life. No human being or demigod can enact laws like those of the Vedic literature, because the Vedic regulations are prescribed by the Supreme Lord. The purport ends here. Now I was thinking, Prabhupada talks a lot about Vedic literature, and this verse is definitely about it. And so I was looking back to see where Prabhupada really expands on it, on this concept. He expands on it in the introduction to the Ishopanishad. And he begins that intro by defining the word Veda. He says Veda means knowledge, of course. But then he immediately explains why ordinary, so-called knowledge in the conditioned state cannot be fully trusted. It's not trustworthy for several reasons. Why? Because the conditioned soul has 4 defects. We commit mistakes. Even great people do that. And even great people admit to committing mistakes. There's nothing wrong, but it's a problem. It's a defect. We become illusioned, especially by bodily identification. Prabhupada says everyone is accepting the body as self. The third one is we have a cheating propensity. Even when our mind and our body, we're so defective, yet we pose as intelligent. That's a kind of cheating propensity. And we tend to cheat. And we know it. It's an intentional thing. Knowingly cheating people. It's just a tendency that conditioned souls have. And the fourth one is our senses are imperfect. We know that. We can't even see properly. So how will we see God with these instruments that are so limited and so problematic? Then Prabhupada gives the conclusion. With the conclusion, therefore we accept the Vedas as they are. Now let's pause and taste a little bit what this means for progressive devotees. This statement, we accept the Vedas as they are. This is not anti-intellectual. This is the most mature intellectual humility. In what way? How is that? Am I not just giving up my agency of thought, being thoughtful by just accepting everything written in this book? No. What this means that we accept the Vedas as they are is that the final Supreme Court of making decisions, the final court, my mind is not the final court. My emotions are not the final court. My cultural trend is not the final court. my traumas that define me, they are not the final court, these traumas. And my own internal private logic is not the final court. Shastra, scripture, that is the final court. The buck stops here. Because Shastra is the Lord's sound incarnation, guiding the conditioned soul. Prabhupada explains the Vedas are not compilations of human speculation. He says, the Vedas are not compilation of human knowledge. Vedic knowledge comes from the spiritual world, from Lord Krishna. That's what Prabhupada says. How do we access it then? So he says that the Vedas are called Shruti. Shruti means knowledge received by hearing, not by experimental conquest. Hearing means you accept it as it is. He gives a very famous analogy in that purport, in that intro. The Vedas are like the mother. If you want to know who your father is, you don't experiment, you just ask your mother, you accept the authority of your mother. And he explains the descending process. That Brahma received Vedic knowledge and it came down by disciplic succession. We all know this. This is very straightforward stuff. But what is the spiritual implication of that conclusion? The implication is that the Vedas are Krishna's mercy in the form of direction. Direction. That's the key. They're not merely rules just to add to your life. They are rescue. The rescue rope. And Prabhupada connects this to Vyasadev's work. You know, he outlines how Vyasadeva divided the Vedas into 4. Then he compiled the Puranas and the Mahabharata for different audiences. He wrote the Vedanta Sutra. And yet, even after having done that, he was not satisfied. He wasn't. Then Prabhupada puts the thunderbolt line. He says, Vyasadeva himself wrote the perfect Vedanta commentary, the Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we speak of Vedic direction, we're not speaking only of ancient rituals and fire sacrifices and how you're going to sit up straight and things like that. We're speaking of a living river of guidance, culminating in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Vyasadeva wrote the Bhagavatam in his maturity. We know that. We learned that in the first canto. I wanted to now touch an important verse. This is the 3rd verse of the Bhagavatam, 113. Canto 1, chapter 1, verse number 3. It says, Nigama kalpa tarur galitam phalam, shuka mukhad amrutad dravasamyatam, pivata bhagavatam rasamalayam, muhurahor rasika bhuvi bhavaka. It says, O expert and thoughtful men, relish. Relish means really absorb the taste, like a connoisseur. Relish the Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the Vedic literature. So mature fruit means Nigama kalpa taru galitam phalam. Nigama means the Vedic literature. Kalpa taru means the desire tree. The Vedic literature are like a tree, desire tree. And galitam phalam means the ripened fruit. It says, relish it. Its nectarian juice, pibata, means drink, was already relishable by all, for all, including liberated souls. Now in the purport there, Prabhupada makes it explicit. he says that the Bhagavatam is not just one more scripture. It is the ripened fruit of all the Vedic scriptures, the cream of all Vedic knowledge. So here's the flow we should understand as devotees. The Vedas are the laws and direction of the Lord. The conditioned soul is defective. You have the 4 defects. And so it needs perfect guidance. When the soul is liberated, it doesn't need any, you don't need any guardrails at that point, because there's no defects in a pure soul. But a conditioned soul has these 4 defects. See? The pure soul is fully aligned with the Lord. So the Vedas are the laws and directions. The conditioned soul needs perfect guidance. And the Bhagavatam, what you see here, Srimad Bhagavatam, is the concentrated, sweetened essence of that guidance. Meaning, if we want to be directed by the rope, the safest and sweetest way is to let the Srimad Bhagavatam enter into our bloodstream. You drink Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. We want the Bhagavatam's message to enter into a bloodstream. Not as information, but as an orientation. We want it to enter as a taste, as the direction of our desires. Reorient our desires based on the Bhagavatam. Because the bull analogy here is not only our body. The bull analogy here is our desire. And Krishna, if we hand him the reins of our bull ring, of our bull rope, he doesn't merely restrain our desire. He purifies our desire. That is why the Bhagavatam is a fruit. It's not a chain. It's not a shackle. It's not these chains, these shackles that bind us. No. It's a fruit. Galitam phalam. Fruit is attractive. Fruit invites. Fruit nourishes. Fruit sweetens the tongue so that the heart willingly changes its direction. The bull happily changes the direction because the rope is sweet. Wow. So let's read this core line again. All the living entities within the universe are conducted by the Vedic directions. And the directions given in the Vedas. As a bull is directed by the rope attached to its nose. No one can violate the rules laid down in the Vedic literatures. And Prabhupada in the purport says that the Vedic literatures are the laws of the Supreme Lord. One cannot violate the injunctions any more than one can violate state laws. The Bhagavad Gita also echoes the same principle. The Vedas are therefore codes of working directions. As one has to work in ordinary life by the direction of the state, similarly, one has to work under the direction of the supreme state of the Lord. This is how Prabhupada explains in the Gita. So what is the point here for a progressive devotee? Say we want to become progressive devotees, aspiring to be advanced and so on. The point is not merely to follow rules. The point is, stop imagining you are outside the system. We are all in the system. We come under this self-imposed illusion. The illusion whispers to me, I am special, I am the exception to the rules. I can violate the rules, I can violate reality and still be happy. I can get away with it. Other people, they're foolish, they get caught, they get implicated. Me, no problem. This illusion keeps whispering to us, yeah, you're special. You can get away with stuff. No, we cannot violate. The verse says no. The rope is there. And here's the twist. The rope is not cruelty. It's a rope of mercy. The rope is compassion. Because if the bull runs into a fire, the bull gets burned. If the bull runs off a cliff and falls down, it'll break all its bones. The bull charges into a war zone. The bull dies. So regulation is mercy. Now let's bring it a little bit closer. When scriptures say, do not do this, it is often not saying that, God is angry. No. It is saying that direction is a ditch. But we take it the wrong way. Oh, is God angry at me, so don't do this. Or you don't want me to have any fun. No. That direction is a ditch. When Shastra says do this, it's not saying become mechanical, become disconnected, ritualistic. No. It is saying this direction is the road home. See, it gives us directions. Direction, when we're going on a journey, is everything. It'll determine whether you get there where you want to go. So why does the verse end with offering obeisances? To the chief person who has contributed the Vedas. Why does it say that? Because behind every instruction is a person. They're not impersonally laid out instructions by some committee. It's Krishna. His hand is behind every instruction. Behind the law is love. It's coming from a place of deep universal love that Krishna has for all his children. And we are all his children. Behind the law is love. Behind the rope is the hand of the Supreme Lord, guiding the living entity toward a life where the heart becomes clean enough to actually relish Krishna, to actually relish him. That's the whole point. Relishing Krishna consciousness is our birthright, but we have obscured it and covered it with the mud of our selfishness. Now it's the project of scraping off that mud. And to do that, we need direction and guidance from the Vedic literature in the form of, and especially in the form of Bhagavatam, which is the cream of all Vedas. Now we come to the analogy that Prabhupada gives in the purport, the salt analogy. An amazing one, actually. And I don't believe I'd come across this until this time. And I found it quite striking. This analogy, you can really think it through and how powerful it is. Prabhupada says in the purport, he says, sense gratification is just like salt. One cannot take too much or too little. But one must take some salt in order to make one's foodstuff palatable. This is Prabhupada's line in the purport. This is extremely deep and extremely practical. Salt is fascinating. Just think of it. Without salt, food can become intolerably bland. Can you imagine eating food without salt? Like just day in, day out, every day. Now with too much salt also, food becomes intolerable again. Salt is not the meal, but it affects the entire meal. Salt is small. It's small, but it dominates the tongue. Salt is necessary, but it is dangerous when it's uncontrolled. When the sodium levels go up and down in the body, get problematic. It's dangerous when it's uncontrolled. So Prabhupada is giving us a psychology of regulated life. Why regulation is so important in Krishna consciousness. He's acknowledging a very important reality. What is that? That the conditioned soul has senses. The conditioned soul has a nervous system. The conditioned soul has habits. And the conditioned soul has limits. So the Vedic approach is not that, we deny the existence of senses. No. It is to retrain the senses. See? Now, let's try to visualize this for the progressive practice of Krishna Bhakti. Imagine your life as a plate of prasadam. Krishna is the main substance because his mercy is what the prasadam is made of. Right? But now this is just an analogy. So your life is a plate of prasadam. Krishna is the main substance in your life. Service is the actual meal. The Shravanam Kirtanam, that's the nutrition. The salt, what is salt? Salt refers to those small allowances of bodily maintenance that keep the mind stable and the heart functional while we are still conditioned. Yes, we're still conditioned. A little bit of bodily maintenance so that we are peaceful. We're not talking about indulgence. We're talking about maintenance. We're not talking about obsession. We're talking about balance. Not that I deserve this, but rather I require steadiness to serve effectively. So we can say to the mind, yes, you will eat, but you will eat as an offering and accept as prasadam. Yes, you will rest, but you will rest so you can chant attentively tomorrow. See, the focus, we need these things, but the focus is serving Krishna. Yes, you will have some recreation. You can go for a walk, do some exercise, but you'll have it in ways that don't inflame the lower modes of passion and ignorance. Yes, you will socialize, of course. We're social beings. But you will protect your consciousness. Learn to socialize. What to avoid, who to avoid, how to avoid, who to get close to, how close to get to them, how to define who is worthy of my confidence, and so on. All that's there. This is all socialization. But the core is to protect our consciousness while we socialize, while we associate. This is the idea of not too much salt, please. Don't put too much salt. Now, why is this needed? Because we are trying to extricate ourselves from a deeply riveted illusion. We've riveted ourselves. This idea that I am this body. Yes, in the Bhakti Shastra exam and all, we'll write, I'm not the body. But our actions do not reflect that theoretical understanding. We're riveted to it very deeply, thinking I am this body. Prabhupada bluntly names it. He says, bodily identification is illusion. We've heard this so many times that it doesn't even register as important anymore. But it's important. And the Bhagavad Gita is, in fact, a rescue mission aimed at dismantling that illusion that's riveting us to this flesh and bone and blood. The Bhagavad Gita, you see so many verses, 700 verses, but it's all about pulling us out of that, rescuing us. Because our entire selfish agenda is based on protecting this false self, this false notion of self. So we need realism. If we attempt a premature kind of renunciation without purification, then we often get one of two results. We collapse and become discouraged, or we externalize devotional activities and internalize fantasy. Meaning the body is renounced externally, but the mind is privately just meditating on bodily sense gratification. So those are two things. Either we collapse because we took on too much renunciation than we can readily handle. Arjuna wanted to do that. Krishna said, don't do it. So we either collapse or we become hypocritical. The salt principle, Krishna talks about it early on in the Gita. He says, mithyachara suchyate. It's a hypocritical life if you pretend to be renounced when you're not really done. So find a better way. The salt principle is the better way. It protects us from hypocrisy, and it protects us from collapse. Both these are bad. If you collapse, you can't do anything. And if you're hypocritical, in some ways it's worse, because now you're actually destroying not just your own future, but you're misrepresenting the process and those who come to you for guidance. And your hypocrisy will be, people eventually see through it. And it breaks their heart, makes people question, is this even humanly possible, this process? That's why the salt. The salt principle says, regulate, do not inflame. Maintain, do not indulge. Stabilize, do not sentimentalize. You have to make it devotional, not merely behavioral. See the difference? Devotion is with your heart, with an undercurrent of love and selflessness. For a progressive devotee, the question is not, how do I enjoy less? No. The question is, how do I make everything serve my surrender process? So let's think of some practical, right now talk all theory, let's think of some practical salt measurements that we can reflect on. Try it. Salt in eating. Keep our intake of the food sattvic. Sattvic means mode of goodness. We know what's mode of goodness and so on. Keep it mode of goodness. Keep it offered. Everything has to be offered. Don't eat anything that's not offered to Krishna. And don't offer anything to Krishna that is not offerable to Krishna. Simple. Keep it moderate. Krishna says in the Gita, don't eat too much, don't eat too little. Keep it moderate. Make your food support your japa. Don't make your food habit sabotage your japa. See. So these are some practical things. We can always improve on our food. There's always room for tweaking to see how we can completely optimize our mood, our goodness, and our japa. Then there's salt in recreation. Choose recreation. Recreation is important for the body. Prabhupada also did it. He went for morning walks. That's recreation. In fact, one devotee asked Prabhupada, what is recreation Krishna's talking about? Prabhupada said, these are just, things like when you walk for maintaining your health. And it's a very pleasant thing to do. Things like that. So choose a recreation that leaves you clean, not agitated. After recreation, the holy name should feel closer to you. If it feels farther away, the salt is too much. Calibrate recreation. Then there's salt in comfort. Comfort is not evil, but comfort that makes you forget Krishna becomes poison. Salt is not evil, but too much salt can become poisonous. Same thing with comfort. See, salt is just a word that we use to visualize regulation, balance. And salt in relationships. Affection is very natural. We should have affection. We should express affection. But attachment that competes with Krishna in an unhealthy way becomes bondage, becomes distraction, and can be unhealthy. Keep the rope. The goal is not to become numb. The goal is to become free. Free means what? Free means my senses no longer drag me. They cooperate. And that cooperation is what this verse is describing. Being conducted by the Vedic directions. So the solution is the joyful practice of increasingly progressive Krishna consciousness. By increasing all 6 aspects of our surrender. What are 6 aspects? This is important. When someone says you should surrender to Krishna, this is what we're talking about. These 6 things. Chaitanya Charitamrita gives this 6 limbs. Accept what is favorable to Krishna. Reject what is unfavorable. Have a conviction that Krishna will protect me. Accept Krishna as the maintainer and guardian. Recognize that. Full self-surrender, giving ourselves completely to Krishna in our hearts, in our minds, our bodies. And humility in how we conduct ourselves, how we deal with others. Now let's connect it to our verse. The verse says we are directed like a bull by a rope. And the Sharanagati explains how the devotee stops fighting the rope and starts holding it voluntarily. Because there are 2 ways to be guided. The conditioned way is to be dragged by the consequences of our poor decisions. Or second, the surrendered way is to be led by trust. So make it practical and joyful. Accept the favorable. This is how we're surrendering. Today, I choose the practices that strengthen my remembrance, deeper quality japa, hearing, association, service. This is the first step, acceptance. These are practical steps. Second, reject unfavorable. What is those things? I will not negotiate with the habits that drain my taste away. No, I'm not negotiating. They're gone. Not because I am strong, but because I'm protected when I obey this. Third, conviction of protection. Krishna is not watching from a distance, my dear heart. Talk to your conditioned self. Remind yourself, Krishna is not watching from a distance. He is so close to us that we can't even fathom how close that's possible. If I walk his path, I am safe. Even if the mind is kicking and screaming, doesn't matter. It's Krishna's safe path. 4, recognize him as the maintainer. How do I do that? Well, I'll stop acting like anxiety is my provider. I'll stop acting like, when I worry, then only will I have enough motivation to do something good. No. Give up the anxiety. Do what you do in your duty. I will do my duty, but my shelter is Krishna, not my mountain of worries, not my default anxiety setting. That's what that means. That's how you measure if you've made surrender. It's a level of anxiety about your maintenance. Self-surrender, what does that mean? It means my plans are not supreme. My preferences, my tastes, my inclinations, they are not supreme. My identity of this body and this selfishness is not supreme. Krishna is supreme. Krishna, I'm yours. Please I'm giving up my supremacy now. I'm stepping onto a silver platter and at your feet. Please accept me. And humility in our dealings. I'm not the controller. I'm not exceptional. I'm not the exception. I'm not super, awesome. Yes, in one sense, everyone is super awesome because they're children of God. But nothing makes me greater than everybody else. I'm a servant being brought home. Let us maintain that mood of humility. So, dear devotees, let us end where we started. The universe is not a playground of random freedom in the sky. It is a classroom of divine law. The Vedas are not merely commandments. They are Krishna's compassionate map, Krishna's protective rope, Krishna's voice reaching into the wilderness of our wandering. We are like bulls, strong in ego, stubborn in habit, convinced that independence would taste sweet. But independence in the material world is only another name for being just driven by our modes that we've acquired through our foolish choices. And Krishna, the chief person here, does not break us. He guides us. Sometimes he guides us through consequence, sometimes through instruction, sometimes through the sweetness of the Bhagavatam, the ripened fruit of the Vedas that make the heart willing to change direction. And today, as this year of our life continues to move, let us not resent the rope. Let us kiss the rope because it is mercy. Let us honor Shastra because it is Krishna speaking out of love. Let us keep salt, which is sense gratification, in its proper place, so our practice remains sane, steady, and sincere. Let us increase our surrender. We know those 6 areas we have to increase. Not as a burden, but as a relief. Because the day our surrender becomes joyful is the day the rope in this nose stops feeling like a restraint and starts feeling like loving guidance. And then with the demigods, with the acharyas, with Srila Prabhupada, with the entire disciplic succession, we say, to the chief person who has contributed the Vedas, we offer our respectful obeisances. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So my obeisance to all of you. Thank you for your kind attention and your valuable time. Hare Krishna. So good to see so many devotees. I didn't notice the devotees coming in. All my friends are here. Hare Krishna.
There are lots of amazing devotees here today. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this amazing sharing of Srimad Bhagavatam Katha. I'm going to be a little greedy here today, Prabhuji. Accept my greediness, please. Of course, dear devotees, we thank you all for being here as always. If you have questions, comments, reflections, you may indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question. And like I said, I'm going to be a little greedy today, please forgive me. Let me enjoy the fruit of being the moderator today. So I get the opportunity to, Prabhuji, I would like to share a quick comment and also ask a question. It's very interesting. You highlighted Srila Prabhupada's use of the salt analogy. Lord Jesus Christ, also use the same analogy in the Christian Bible. I think it is, if I may share it here, is in Matthew chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5, verse 13 and 14. Lord Jesus Christ, this is what is titled the Beatitude. It says, ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under the foot of men. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. So, Sri Prabhupada is saying that too much salt will spoil the food. Too much little will not bring out the savor of the taste of the food. So my speculation in that analogy is that we cannot claim to be too spiritual, whereby we cannot relate with others whom we think are not as spiritual as ourselves. We have to apply moderation, and we cannot be too lapsed also. That will also cause a problem. Before refrigeration, salt used to be used as preservatives. So as devotees, it is our responsibility to preserve the Vedic scriptures, the Vedas. But here comes my question. There's been lots of studies made, and the conclusion is that the least read literature in this world is manual. Nobody likes to read manuals. And the Vedas is the manuals to living in this material world. And therefore, lots of people are not interested in studying or reading the Vedas. Now, my question to you, Prabhuji, is how do we become interested in reading and studying the manuals? Because the manuals are the salt and the light to help us live in this world and beyond. But because it's the least read literature, most of us do not take any interest in reading it. How do we develop the taste and the interest of reading these manuals? Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yes. No, who reads the manuals? They even stopped publishing them nowadays because nobody reads them. If you buy a product, where's the manual? Like, I used to look for the little booklet. They don't even publish those because then nobody reads it. What's the point of publishing something? You figure it out, But it's true. The manual. See, when you manufacture anything like a TV, at least back then, actually they do publish the manuals. Just put it on the internet. They don't print it, but whenever anything is manufactured, the manual is written with it. So when the Lord creates the universe, the manual is the Vedas, right? Of course, you made a very powerful bridge about how Jesus Christ, I think it was Jesus who said it, that you salted the earth.
Yes.
And that salt can lose its function and be good for nothing. Of course, Prabhupada explains sense scarification salt, not too much, not too little. So the shared insight I'm seeing here is that salt is meant to serve the purpose of the meal, not replace the meal. See, salt is not the meal, but it's needed. The devotion is the meal. Now, your manual, the point of manuals, is also true in human nature. Many people simply do not read manuals unless pain forces them to. Unless something, troubleshooting section, they go straight to it because they messed up so badly. They should have read it first. They messed it up. So like you said, they did the studies, and often manuals are not read. Now, why do we avoid the manuals? Let's ask ourselves that question first. It's not really laziness, believe it or not. It's psychology. There's several aspects of psychology that kind of, drive us to be beating ourselves in the wrong direction. First one, ego, especially men. Us men, we have that problem. We don't ask for directions. I can figure it out without instructions. How hard can it be? So, that's the ego part of it. Then there's impatience. Manuals that feel slow. Trial and error, for some reason, seems more efficient to us. I'll try this button, that button. At least I just avoid the red button. Then there's a low feeling of relevance. Like when we approach scripture, I don't see how it's relevant to my life. This thing was written a long time ago, the scriptures. Also, another problem I'll tell you is overwhelming volume. Are you kidding me? The Vedas are so big. Where do I even begin? Too much information, not a clear entry point. This is a problem. This is a genuine problem. And of course, we don't have a taste. We haven't been kicked enough to get a motivation or to taste any results, so we don't come to the scriptures. The key is not guilt. What's the key to getting these people on board? The key is good onboarding. So the Vedas, let's just think about the Vedas like it's a manual, right? Vedas is the big manual, very technical, very hard to get into. You need to do 12 years of just Sanskrit study to understand what's going on there. The Bhagavatam is like the for dummies edition. Reason there's books for dummies, like Python programming for dummies, something. There's like a whole series for dummies. That series succeeded because they do three things. And Bhagavatam is like that. They assume you are sincere, you're not stupid. They start with the simplest handles. You just go straight in, very simple. And they give you quick wins that build your confidence. So the Bhagavatam is our savior. That's exactly how Krishna's mercy works through the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is not overwhelming compared to the Vedas. They're very sweet. Nigama Kalpataru, right? So strictly speaking, the Shrutis, which is the Vedas and the Upanishads, those are the technical ones. Bhagavatam is classified as Smriti and Puranas. But the Bhagavatam delivers the Shruti conclusion in the most digestible, story-powered, taste-giving form. It's a divine, what you call, life for dummies. That even liberated souls relish, by the way. It's not that, liberated souls, this is just for dummies. No, they love the dummies series. You see. So Vedas, you can say, the full manual. It has a lot of detailed documentation. A lot of it is not even relevant today, but it's all there, okay? Upanishads is the philosophy section of the manual. The Bhagavad Gita is the quick start guide. You know how sometimes the product is a thick manual and the thin one page called quick start? That's Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is quick start. It has everything that you need to keep moving. The Bhagavatam is the for dummies masterclass because it teaches through the narratives. It teaches characters and consequences and sweetness, not just rules. And even teaches you where the rules can be bent. It's amazing. So how to make devotees interested in reading the manuals? You switch from the idea that cover to cover reading. Go to problem-based, theme-based reading. People read manuals when something breaks. People come to God when something breaks in their lives. That's when you open the manual. Oh, I wish I'd read it before. Well, you're here now. Let's do it. You see. The same in Bhagavatam. Someone says, mind is restless. So you read a section in the Bhagavatam that talks about mind and desire attachment. I feel dry in my chanting. Well, then let's open the manual. You open the prayers about absorption and love in the holy name. I'm confused about regulation. Well, then you read about these Dharma discussions, the salt principle. You see, if it's theme-based approach to solution of problems that are affecting me right now, that's how you get people to open the manuals. You see. And then once they get a taste for that, then you don't need to tell them anymore. See? Yes. Is that okay? Sadhe Prabhu?
Yeah. Thank you so much for everything. Very, 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 very practical. Yes, thank you so much. Mother Gail, please, you may unmute.
Our dear friends Gail and yes, go ahead, Gail Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everybody. Yeah, I had two questions. Both are just repetition only. When you were, I think it was when you were discussing the six limbs of surrender, and you were encouraging us to not use worry or an anxiety as our protector, maybe. So when it came to anxiety, can you just kind of go over that part again?
Yeah, yeah. That's an important one. It's hard to. It's anxiety is a deep thing. It's like our constant companion. In fact, if one day you're sitting there and like, hey, you know, I'm not worried about anything anymore. That's the problem. I should be worried. And so start worrying about the fact that we're not worried anymore, because it's our default setting. It's like, and the problem, I'll tell you what the problem is. Unfortunately, the grown-ups teach us this when we're children. Like, oh, this is what grown-ups do. It's like when you mature, you worry. You overwhelm yourself with anxiety. This is what it means to be a mature person. Responsibility means you're stressed out. If you're not chewing your nails off and biting into your pencils, you're not a responsible person. This is an impression they create, and so we think, it's a cool thing to do, and it becomes part of our underlying thought process. But it's not natural for us. It's not natural in a conditioned state, in the sense that worry and anxiety is actually a morbid kind of indulgence that doesn't get you anywhere. It's an indulgence that we think we're doing stuff. We think we're solving a problem by worrying about it, but it doesn't solve anything. You're better off putting the worry aside and being cool-headed and finding some practical steps, okay, to resolve whatever problem is you're worried about. Now, how this is connected with that one particular point of Krishna being our maintainer is that a lot of our worries are reposed in this idea that where will my food come from? Where will my comforts come from? I've tied my dignity and sense of self-worth with my bank balance. And if it doesn't look good, like the trajectory doesn't look good, I start freaking out. This is some of the biggest problems of our worries, okay? It's tied into that. Let me give an example. Suppose there's a little kid, okay? 5 years old. His father owns multiple businesses. His father is worth maybe $15 billion in America. His 5-year-old kid goes to his dad, very stressed out. 5-year-old kid. Dad, I'm really worried. Oh, what? What happened? Somebody bully you in school? No, I'm really worried. I don't know if I'll get food tomorrow. Like, will I get food tomorrow? I don't have any money. Who knows? I mean, today I got food, but maybe tomorrow I may not. The father's like, father first of all get very upset. What in the heck is wrong with you, kid? Your father is one of the richest guys in America. Anywhere you turn, you have like nice cars and servants, and we have 50 houses all over the country and food out the wazoo, and you're worried that where your food is going to come from? It's not, that worry of the child is not based in reality at all. And in a sense is offensive to the father. You see? So what Krishna is saying is that I am feeding the elephants who don't even pay taxes or anything, and they're doing okay. They eat so much food more than you. Why are you worried? Don't be worried. Yes, you will always have food. I'm there for you. Okay? To have that level of trust in the Lord, even though we may have experienced hunger in our lives of poverty, I'm not saying that's not a reality. It is a reality in this world. There are people who are poor and who do worry about where the food is going to come from.
Yeah, and that's my issue there.
No, I understand. I understand. But is that, if I am anxious like that person when I am not that person? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When my very competent husband Joe, who makes so much money at Deutsche Bank or whatever, this is just theoretical names. These are not real names. Why should I pretend that I'm married to somebody who can't even make $2 an hour? Why should I pretend like that? You see, so I understand there are people in the world, okay, but I am if I'm not really that person, I should not really worry.
Well, the reason why I worried there is because, yes, I had the richest, you know, protector in the world, but, every calamities, no one is safe from calamities, and for our sake, even though Krishna might have us experience calamities for the sake of our growth, there is still fear of calamities. Even if we accept,
Yes.
even if we accept that this is for our own good, our welfare, how to not be fearful that Krishna might not put me through that experience of even homelessness or not knowing where my
Yeah.
next meal is going to come from, because that's what I need to go through to get to the next level.
That's why this aspect that Krishna is always going to maintain me and protect me, that level of trust shows our surrender. That we'll know even if Krishna puts me through the ringer,
Hmm.
I know it's coming from a place of love. He will never put me through a test that I cannot pass. He will not break me, and he will protect my devotion, because he wants me to be devotee even more than I want to be a devotee. And if sometimes it means, putting me through some pressure, I know it'll be good for me. I know I'll come out on the other side shining. And so that is the level of surrender and trust that we develop in Krishna. And it's not easy to do,
Mm-mm.
but we know what to do. You see, that's the point. We know the context. We know the perspective we want to carry in our heart. We want to recognize Krishna as loving us. And we want to also, at the same time, keep praying to the Lord, please guide me, because my decisions aren't always the best ones. Please help me make the optimal decisions. And we want to invite Krishna to be part of our decisions every day, and that's a part of our surrender. You see, to the extent we do that, to the extent our anxieties will go down. In fact, you will see, you can observe your own advancement. Your level of anxiety today is probably less than, say, before you became Krishna conscious. You have a much deeper sense of trust in God because of your practice. You may not be able to sometimes see that exactly, but if you really look at it from the bigger picture, you will see that Krishna's hand in your life gives you a sense of confidence that you didn't have before.
Well, my barometer is always this fear of deprivation, homelessness, things
Yeah,
like that. That
no,
has
exactly.
not, that has never gone diminished. That has never diminished.
It must have definitely gone down a little bit though. Like
You would like, you
you're not
would think.
hyperventilating about losing your house tomorrow, right?
No, I never, no, no, but I can see that that has remained a constant, you
Yeah.
know.
And that's good that you can see it though. Some people don't see it. That's another thing. And you're able to see, able being able to see where we need to improve in our 6 areas of surrender is in itself a gift of the Lord. Because now you know what to target. You see.
Prabhu, in this same vein, you were saying how anxiety is a kind of indulgence or whatever. So I was wondering if you would also agree that, because I have this one for sure, is fear of complacency, like,
Yes. So there are 2 kinds of anxieties. One is anxiety is wanted, and the other anxiety is not wanted. One anxiety about my material comforts and well being, that's not needed. Because when we die, we're going to lose everything anyway. These things are not important. I'm not in the body anyway, so that's not important.
but
But to
most
be
importantly, because you said we trust Krishna won't break
yes,
us.
exactly. We
That,
trust Krishna. He will give us the best thing, whatever it
Mhm.
is. We may not find it very comfortable always, but what He gives us is the best. But the other anxiety is that, my Lord, I'm anxious that I will be able to serve you properly. I'm anxious that, I committed to do the offering this morning. I'm anxious to make sure it's done properly. That anxiety is wanted. Mother Yashoda has anxiety too. She has anxiety about the milk boiling over and so on. But that's transcendental anxiety, which is driven by love for Krishna. That is wanted
but
because, yes.
is there a point where that fear, that level of anxiety over complacency, becomes dominated by the mode of ignorance? So,
See, if your goal is to serve Krishna, right, and you're afraid that, oh my God, Krishna, I hope I don't become complacent, that's a good anxiety. That's not dominated by modes of ignorance. Right?
Yeah, I was just wondering if it can, because so many things can cross the line, But I
Exactly.
don't know.
That's why we study all these nuances, so we can learn to parse them out. How much of this component is based on my selfish rascaldom, and how much is based on selfless service? See, finding motivations can actually be very difficult because we hide them from ourselves. See? That's why we
Yeah,
need these
yeah.
discussions more and more. All right?
Thank you, Prabhu. I mean, I know other hands are up. If you have time, I don't know if you can come back to me
Okay.
because I have a couple things. So
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Brother Gail. So we go to Taruna Gopal Prabhu. Please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna, Karan
Hare
Gopal
Krishna,
Prabhu.
everyone in the meeting. So, my question is, we've spoke about the bull on the on the rope,
Rope.
and we can see that the specific Bhagavatam verse emphasizes that spiritual authority against division. Can you hear me?
It was breaking up a bit there. Can you say that again? So you said the rope on the bull, and that emphasizes the spiritual authority of the Bhagavatam. Okay. What's the question?
Yeah, awakens devotion naturally. Is that correct? Um, and I kind of related this because we were speaking about, you were saying how we can sleep early so that we wake up and you know and have kind of a, kind of be in a good mood for chanting and make our chanting better. So how much does the consciousness of a place, especially negatively, or even being in a spiritually charged environment, how does it affect our devotional service and even our japa? And how can we cultivate like some natural attraction to Krishna in our hearts, regardless of these external circumstances? Maybe being in a like negatively charged environment, or yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in a place where the consciousness is negative.
Yes, yes. It's a good question. Um, when I first started learning how to ride a bicycle, I remember I was a little kid, and my father got me a bicycle with two wheels. Okay, the proper bicycle, just perfectly sized. But it also had two extra training wheels that you could remove later on. So first he put the two training wheels so that when I start pedaling, I learn first how to pedal, then I learned to balance later on. But first pedaling to move forward, and then once I got used to that, then he took off one of the training wheels. He said, "Don't lean this side; you'll fall. If you feel you're gonna fall, lean on the other side, right side." Okay. So then I started pedaling. Now I learned that if I do this much, I'll fall this way. So then after a while, I got used to the idea of maintaining balance, and we took off the other training wheel. I fell down a couple of times. After that, it became very easy. Why am I saying this? So namna makari bahuda nija sarvashaktis tatrarpita niyamita smaranena kala. That the holy names are imbued, invested with all the potencies of the Lord, all of them. And there are no hard and fast rules, right? No hard and fast rules means you can have a chanting session, you can do japa anywhere in the world. It could be at Mangal Arati in the ISKCON temple, right after Mangal Arati at ISKCON temple, or it could be in a noisy bar where people are drunk and some people are having a fight. You can chant anywhere. But noisy drunken bar where people are throwing up and having fights is not the ideal place to do it compared to, say, ISKCON temple. But there's no hard and fast rules. And the advanced devotees, even if they find themselves in a very unsupportive environment, can get the full benefit of the Lord because the Lord's name is so powerful. But it takes that kind of training of riding the bicycle. So if we have not reached there yet where we're getting very good, it doesn't really matter so much. And for most of us, that takes a long time. It will be a problem to try to jump into it prematurely. We will be affected by it. We will fall off the bicycle because we haven't even figured out how to balance it, right? But once you get there, you're there. So those are two things we want to keep in mind. So as we get more mature and develop more taste in chanting, the external factors will become less and less significant. But because it's a gradual process of training, what may apply for one person at one level may not apply for another person at a different level, the same scenario. That's something to keep in mind. The point here is the supremacy of the holy name. Nothing can make the holy name impure. Nothing can make the name itself less effective. But our receptivity, see, the holy name is effective, but we are not receptive. So our receptivity is a factor of our training and our taste that we've developed. So that has to be balanced, see? And that's important. Is that okay, Tarun Gopal?
Yes, it is good. Thank you.
Are you still in Eldoret, the family?
Yes, I am.
Nice. So good to see you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much for waiting.
Okay, Mitravinda Mataji.
Baby, please you me unmute.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for being here, Madam Gopal Prabhu. Please set my obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is a wonderful presentation that you've put together. My statement / question is that in the best interest of people not leaving the shelter of Srila Prabhupada once they get the taste or have the special mercy to receive a book or come into association of devotees and all the beautiful things that come after that, is to think when you were speaking about the classroom and the education and the teacher, it would be in my understanding and opinion and experience that the teachers who are loving, kind, gentle, qualified, educated, and have the ability to see discernment, the ability to see beyond what is being presented. Because we can all have these aspects of acting like something's okay when it's really not, right? Or masking, in other words. Srila Prabhupada, when he came to America, he was able to help people with some really strong personalities go beyond who they have been, in hopes that they would really move forward in their lives and be able to help others and cleanse and do more, because the aspects of purification helps one get more knowledge on this path. So the rules and regulations that are there, they can be very daunting if the teacher is harsh, not self-examined, devoid of compassion. And then that can lead to more than one thing. Someone who's sturdy will continue to move forward, but in a way that's not healthy. Because now they're learning because they desire to have this information. But if the teacher is harsh, then they carry that harshness with them in their knowledge. They carry it with them in their experience, and then they dole it out in portions on plates to anyone that's around them. Srila Prabhupada gave the love, the compassion, the education, the care, the pictures of him cooking for everyone and teaching them how to cook, because there was no one else to share the beauty of this philosophy in a practical way. I'm thinking that in order to hold on to the souls that come, that we should focus on this love and care that Srila Prabhupada had. at his late stage in bodily existence, he took the time as an affectionate mother or father to hug and make sure people were okay. And anything else that came up was, is ours, authentically. But the more that we can focus on parental affection in education from a healthy perspective, the better the outcome. I just wanted to share that as someone who has taught children for many years, and my Sunday school children are brilliant. They're all in university or out of university, but they're also very kind, and they help others, and they are not stuck on bodily concepts. One of the things I would share regularly was, that Krishna is in the ant, the bird, the cat, the dog. Look left, look right, in each of you, just as you are, your different complexions, your different outfits, and societal norms tend to, and even on some level, cultural norms tend to muddle the Vedic process relatable to bhakti. Because if I don't have a sari, and I walk into a place where people have saris, if the first thing that happens is that I feel this energy of I'm less than, I'm not wanted. And then when I do get a sari, I feel like I'm better than. We have to move it beyond some things that are becoming more important, that are not really as important as adhering to the process and chanting, to become more, to go deeper, to become more loving and access bhakti, which is, more than collection of knowledge or adhering to rules for societal or being looked at or looked upon as better or more than. Because we get stuck in that, and then, we can end up with people in higher positions that are not doing what's necessary to actually show the process and help people grow. Thank you for being here, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. You have a very important point, and I appreciate your reflections. You put some things in here as well on the side, on the chat. But it's very important who becomes the teacher, because the teacher's mood, if it's harsh, uncompassionate, judgmental, unfair, it doesn't just impact one person, it impacts their students, and it becomes like a norm, and then it becomes weaved into the fabric of our community as if it's supposed to be there. You see, and it is a problem. It is a problem in ISKCON, and I'm not going to pretend it's not. It is a problem in ISKCON and in many religious organizations where there's harshness in those who are, supposed to be the teachers. Care in a temple has to be based on natural affection. Like you mentioned, family affection, affection toward children, spouse, children, etc. People misapply some of these teachings which talk about detachment from family. They misapply it. Prabhupada warns about it too in the purports. He actually tells you not to do it. He actually says these are natural objects of affection, wife, children, family, etc. One should not disregard that natural affection. See? So similarly, care in a temple. If you want to find that purport, it's a very beautiful purport. In fact, at my wedding, the devotee who conducted the wedding, he read from that purport. He says, don't misapply the understanding of detachment from family. Prabhupada writes this, that these are natural objects of affection. Give them affection. So care in a temple is not a soft extra that's optional. It is part of the infrastructure of bhakti. If people walk in to our, say, temples, even our homes or in our lives as devotees, and they're looking for shelter, they walk in carrying loneliness, they're carrying shame, confusion, addiction, grief, or just a exhausted heart. And now if they experience coldness or judgment, like you mentioned, wearing a sari, and they experience judgment, they'll not think, this is purification, give me more. No. They will think, this place is not safe for my soul. And then, tragically, they will go where they will feel seen, even if that place may be spiritually dangerous. Sometimes that's a bar. Sometimes it's a friend group. Sometimes it's a corner of the internet somewhere. The point is simple. Human beings often stay where they are treated with basic dignity. There's a classic story, you might have heard this one. A man walks into a church, let's say it's a temple. After many years of struggling, his clothes are messy and his life is messy. He sits in the back, hoping nobody notices. But people notice. Some whisper, hey, he should not be in here like that, dressed like that. Another person says, hey, you need to dress properly if you're coming to God. And then maybe his leg is hurting, so he points it to the deity because he has to stretch it out. And someone shouts, hey, don't point your foot to the God. So then he leaves feeling smaller than when he arrived. That evening he goes to the bar. And the bartender looks at him and says, hey, you look like you've had a rough day. Sit down. Have a drink on the house. Another person comes over, hey, what's your name? And they listen. They don't preach. They don't judge. They treat him like a person. And as he's stumbling, he pushes one glass, it breaks. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'll pay for it. He said, no, don't worry, this didn't happen, man. Come on, you're one of us here now. He's treated better in the bar than the temple. Now where is he going to keep going? This is exactly why care in temples matter. It matters, this care. Temple can have perfect siddhanta. It can have perfect org chart with management and everything, and still lose people if the social environment keeps communicating. You're only acceptable if you perform properly, if you sit properly, if you dress properly. People can tolerate strong standards, it's fine, if they also feel that I'm being valued, I'm guided, and I'm not being shamed. So without that care, we unintentionally train newcomers and struggling devotees to associate spiritual life with humiliation. And then we wonder why they stop coming. So, okay, that's maybe too dark, but this is reality. But what can we do positively? What does care look like in a good place? Warmth. The first contact should be warm. Greet. Learn the name. Help them find where to sit. Introduce them to one other kind person. Then if some correction has to happen, correct it privately, very discreetly. And encouragement, you applause publicly. Public shaming destroys hearts. So private coaching builds up devotees. Assume sincerity in everybody. Many are not rebellious. Most people are not actually bad. They're just overwhelmed. Treat them like patients, not criminals. And build paths, not walls. Here's the next step. Here's the next step. When you say you do not belong without saying it, that crushes the heart. We have to train our teachers and our leaders in tone, in mood. You can speak strongly without speaking harshly. Compassion is also a discipline. It doesn't come naturally to most of us. So all these are there. The painful reality is that it's rare. Devotee care is rare. But I'm grateful that you're talking about it here. Keep talking about it. And I invite the devotees here to please try to find ways to improve in our own lives in that regard. Our flagship product is not beads or dhotis or saris. Our flagship product is love and encouragement. If we offer that freely, people will come in droves to be themselves. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
I see Venu Madhuri Mataji is unmuted. I don't know if you want to share a thought.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
One statement, Prabhuji, you made reminded me of a true incident that took place some time ago in West Africa. I wasn't in the temple room at the time, but the devotee who shared this with me was in the temple room. One devotee had visited the temple. It's more or less like a new bhakta. And he had a prosthetic leg. So when he sat in the temple room, his prosthetic leg was pointed towards the altar. And he was told that he cannot do that. And he explained that, well, this is a prosthetic leg. I cannot bend it. And the description is quite sad and unfortunate, up to the point that this person left the temple and never went back to the temple. So it's very important that we pay attention to things like that. But I was also very interested to see how, well, I'm not surprised though, but how you were able to gather what Mother Travinda was saying, to understand what she was saying and expand on them, because I see, like in the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, John will speak at length. And Krishna will remember everything he said. And then he will answer them. I am not like that. When someone speaks like maybe a minute or two, I lose track. But somehow you were able to understand everything she was sharing, and we shared everything. I see Mother Kirtida has her hand up. But Prabhuji, see, Sri Upanishad tells us that in the spiritual world, 1 + 1 is 1, 1 - 1 is 1. So please allow us to drink a little bit more of your humble self today. Because we are, His Grace Brahmatirtha was here 2 days ago, and he shared some pastimes with us about your humble self, about your activities, recent activities in Kenya, which some of us have actually come across, some of them online. And he was sharing some of them with us. And like before the program started, I was saying that we would like to hear from your humble self some of these pastimes. To me, as an African born, it was and still is so relishing to see devotional service flourishing in Africa, and you contributing so much to this flourish of of devotional service in Africa. I also saw your activity with His Holiness Sasarup Das Goswami Maharaj. It's the 75th Vyasa Puja. And Maharaj is always writing, but he has one small book. I don't remember the title. But in that book, he writes, because my Gurudev, His Holiness Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Maharaj, was being trained by Sasarup Maharaj on book distribution. So they were somewhere in the south of US, and they were doing book distribution, and they were crossing the street. And Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj hugged Sasarup Maharaj, and he said, Maharaj, who could have imagined that devotional spiritual life is so blissful? So devotional service is so blissful, and it's so nice to see you carry the same torch, making devotional service so blissful. So to the end of my long talk, Kirtida Devi, Prabhuji, I'm just so happy seeing you and hearing you. Please forgive me. I can talk and talk. Kirtida, please unmute and then go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sadhguru Prabhu. I'm always very happy to see you, by the way. You know that, right? We're very close. So I'm just grateful to Krishna that I can be your friend.
Hare Krishna, thank you. I'm fortunate.
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Gurudev. Please accept my humble obeisances and Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for this excellent session today. Sadev, Prabhuji, even I was born in Africa, so even I am an African, just like you. So it means very special for me to join this group. And Gurudev, I just wanted to ask you about humility. Humility in our material world is considered as a weakness. Can you please elaborate on the humility we should have in the spiritual world or in our
Yes.
spiritual life?
Yes. Humility is a very misunderstood concept. And it is also misread. And then, of course, there's a spiritual aspect to it, and then there's a materialistic aspect to it as well. So it makes it even more complicated. But what is humility in its essence? Humility in its essence means a freedom from a kind of selfishness that is rooted in enjoying self-aggrandizement, that I am very great. And we project a sense of, okay, we strut, the way we carry ourselves, the way we talk to other people, I'm better than you, even without saying things, our body language, all those things that reflect our feeling, or what we're trying to project as an image of who we think we are. Right? So humility means to act in a way that is in line with truth and reality. You see, and the truth and reality of the matter is that we are very, very small compared to Krishna, and so we should behave and not project. We behave in that way, not project that we're something so great. Right? Srila Prabhupada defines humility in the Bhagavad Gita very nicely in one of the purports. He says, humility means to not have the anxiety of being recognized and acknowledged by others. He doesn't say to have the desire. Desire is okay. Interesting. That's what I read. To have a normal, say, appreciation that someone acknowledged my presence, someone mentioned my name. I appreciate it. That doesn't mean I'm not humble. But if I'm in anxiety, oh my God, if they don't say my name, I won't sleep tonight. Then we've lost the humility. Humility means to not have that anxiety, to be completely free from that attachment. But it doesn't mean that you don't appreciate when it happens. Okay. Then His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, when he was here in State College, he came to my apartment. This was in 98. And he spoke to me, and we were talking about this same topic, and I asked a similar question. Maharaj, can you explain about humility? He says humility doesn't mean kind of self-deprecation. That doesn't mean you think less of yourself. Oh, I'm so fallen, I'm so down, I'm so bad. No. Humility, he says, doesn't mean you think less of yourself. It means you think of yourself less. You see? It means you don't focus so much on yourself. Forget it. Spend your energy and time helping people. Don't be worried about your image. Just be nice to people. Be kind and caring to the way that you want to be cared for. Let the love of the Lord in your life be reflected in your love for other people. Then, because you're thinking of yourself less, that selfish agenda is gone. And the real natural state of the soul comes out, and that's humility. And the sweetness that you encounter in such exchanges is humility in action. That's what I saw in the dynamic presence of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. In the way my own spiritual master conducts himself, the way he speaks, and the way he preaches, and so on. And I can see why they were such close friends, both our spiritual masters. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj and like Sadhguru Prabhu was saying, and Saraswati Maharaj, they worked together, by the way, in Prabhupada's service. They were working in the library party. And they used to both wear, because they had shaved heads, but when they used to visit the universities, they used to try to get the university libraries to buy Prabhupada's books. They used to go as book salesmen. They used to wear wigs. It was hilarious. And they had so many nice stories from that era. So I see these are beacons of humility for us, that, you know, they're so humble and sweet, and yet they have also the nice fun personality where they're joking and laughing, also giving heavy instructions as needed, whenever needed, to their disciples. But humility is always saturating the environment when they're there, because they're not thinking of themselves. You see, they're thinking of others, they're thinking of Prabhupada, they're thinking of Krishna, completely selfless. So that's the say yardstick. In the material world, because the idea is to exploit people, if someone is gentle and humble in the corporate environment, for example, or say in the academic world, people may see as a vulnerability to be exploited, and people can take advantage, because the world out there is dog eat dog, take advantage of people. So if you find any kind of vulnerability or even optics of vulnerability, then people will come after you. And so in some corporate worlds, you have to act like a jerk, and the jerks are the ones that get promoted. Not being unfair and harsh just means you have to be tough sometimes. Doesn't mean you're not humble. It just means that particular environment you have to play the role, or play the say drama. This is not who we are, but you stand up straight. Hey, I'm talking to you. Why didn't you something like that. Sometimes you have to use that tone. Doesn't mean you're not humble, but when a person deserves that, you got to give them a smackdown. So that's the nature of the world. But we know it's all drama, and with devotees we don't do that. But in an environment, it's like wrestling ring. When you go in a wrestling ring and you're a professional wrestler, then you have to wrestle. You're not unfair. You're not going to break the rules of social conduct. You're not going to be a dishonest person. You're just going to play by the rules of the game. So that's why we will see sometimes devotees are very gentle and soft when dealing with other devotees, or when they go out preaching to strangers. But in the corporate world, it's almost like, what happened to him? Well, because you're playing the game. You've gone to play carom, you play carom. You're going to play chess, you play chess. You play corporate, you play corporate. You see, if you're going to play to win, then you know the rules. Sometimes you have to project that way, so that to protect yourself from people coming after you and have to deal with those things. Anyway, you've seen enough of the world. I can't really give that much experience. You've seen more of the world than I have, in the academic world especially. You know how it works. So, but that's what I can offer, is that it's not that you're not humble. It's just that you're not thinking of yourself. That's all. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. That was excellent.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I know we've been here much longer than usual. I see Mother Gail has her hand up, but I would have loved to hear from you, Prabhuji, if you could share maybe just 2-3 minutes of your recent pastimes in Kenya. I think the devotees will be very happy to hear. Personally, I saw bits and pieces here and there online, but I believe that the devotees would love to hear some of these pastimes from your own lotus lips. You can do that. We will appreciate it. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay. Well, so last year in 2024, I visited Kenya after 28 years.
Wow.
Of a break. And I realized, that's too long of a break. I can't be coming every 28 years. I should go every year, so I should go regularly. And it was just last year's experience was so sweet. I said, why am I wasting time? Just sticking in one place. I need to go back home. And so last year when I went, it was a great experience. We had great devotees who came and planned out our trip. The whole goal this year was to give as many classes and do as many preaching programs possible. I remember one day in Eldoret we did 7 programs. Kirtida Sundari Mataji was in charge of organizing my program, and she is very efficient in packing the day, let's just say, you know. So one of those programs was Harinam on the street, which I think a highlight in Eldoret. And there were so many people on the street, and let's see, I wish somebody had. I wanted to play one clip of us in the street. It
Yes.
was really good.
Please.
I think that would be cool. I don't know, Tarun Gopal, do you have that clip by any chance, or Venu Madhuri? Somebody, when we were in Eldoret doing the Harinam, that was quite an amazing thing. And I have to find that. But if you can find that, so what we did was, I did a class in the morning in Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we decided we're going to go to Harinam on the street. So we thought, who's going to be there this time? But it turns out that was a commute hour, and people were going back and forth by foot, and it was pretty packed. So we'd let Kirtan, 10 devotees from our side meaning from US and India, and the whole gang had gone, 10 of us together. It was quite an experience. So, you know, the Eldoret crowd were very... Eldoret is a small town. I think it might be the 4th largest town or something in Kenya, 4th or 5th. And it's also a hub of a lot of educational institutions. And so they were quite amazed to see such a diversity of devotees leading Kirtan. I wish I'd known about this thing, so I would have kept that one clip handy. But not sure if I'll find it. What else did we do? So then in Nairobi, when we landed, we let's see, what did we do? In Nairobi, as soon as we landed, we went straight to a home program, like, and it gave a class over there. Say Mukunda Maharaj has joined?
Yeah.
Really? My obeisances to Mukunda Maharaj. Yes. I don't know, Tarun, did you find that clip? I think it was pretty cool.
Taruna Prabhu, if you found it, we'll give you the right so you may share. Kirtida Devi, if you found it, we'll give you the right so you may share.
Yeah.
Because we would love to see it.
Yes. But then what else did we do? Because that's Eldoret. Then we also went to Mombasa. Mombasa is a coastal town where we did some home programs as well. Maybe it's on my YouTube channel. It's right over there. Eldoret. There it is. Yeah, I think it might be on the YouTube channel. Eldoret. Then, of course, in Nairobi, we did a lot of... they have a nice farm there called the Krishna Balaram farm with cows and things like that. We had some adventures there. We went down to the river. Let's see. Then in Eldoret, we did a university program, 2 university programs at Moi University. One was for medical students, where they had some nice questions about the body and the soul and so on. And then the other one was at the main campus. Okay, what else? Yeah. Maybe I'll put Tarun Gopal on the spot. Maybe you can describe some of the things that we did, or maybe Kirtida Sundari Mataji, that you enjoyed about the trip.
Maharaj, you forgot the highlights, the initiation of the 6
yes.
devotees.
Yes, well, I generally don't talk about that very much in public, but yes, if you ask me, sure. So yes, 6 devotees in Kenya took initiation.
Yeah.
Let's see, Tarun just sent some things. Yes, fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Tarun Gopal just sent some good clips or photographs. So I'm going to download those. Okay, so in Eldoret, here it is. There it is. Okay, there's the Harinam.
Prabhu, you see, I remember when Sri Prabhupada himself visited Kenya, Nairobi.
Yes.
They were sending in lots of Indian body devotees, and Sri Prabhupada said, "Where are the locals? Where are the locals?" So personally, I was very much thrilled. I was very much excited when I saw in your program lots of the locals, like you were saying, the diversity. And like here we have Taruna Prabhu, who I understand is a local devotee, and he's taken to Krishna consciousness so beautifully. So thank you so much for.
I'm gonna share some clips over here. So let's see, share. All right, I don't know if this is gonna work. Okay. This is another one. I'm going to share this one. So you can see, yeah, this is short clips. There you go. This is another nice one. This one, we're actually building a new temple in Eldoret, a nice big one, very close to where Mother Kirti Sundari lives. She's an integral part of that project. This is a site, temple site. They already started the construction. So they already started the construction there. And if you want to, you know what, I'll just show you highlights from the, okay, you mentioned the initiation, so I'll show you some highlights from the initiation.
Yeah.
Here it is, initiation, Nairobi. I'll play this. Oh boy. How do you play this? It's really slow when you want it to work.
Sade, you were saying that how happy you were to see the locals there. But when I saw a clip of his trip there, I got a big kick out of the fact that not only did he give classes in 5 different languages, but Swahili was among them. He was like fluently giving classes in Swahili. So I thought that was neat.
Yes, you're right. But again, I don't know exactly what's happening with your audio. It's a little muffled. Of course, we could hear you, but it's a little muffled.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll change location. I don't know what happened.
Oh, this is so beautiful.
So this is our temple in Nairobi.
Yeah.
And this is the initiation ceremony. So these 6 devotees took initiation: Kirtika, Tim, Dan, Diana, Indusa, and Mugo.
Beautiful.
So this is Kirti Dasundari. You can.
Jai, Hare Krishna.
She's taking initiation here. She's taking offering obeisances.
Right.
Of course, I made them say all the 10 offenses and things like that. So Kirti Dasundari getting her name. Then after that, let's see.
May I ask a question, Hare Krishna?
Sure, of course.
Are you an initiating guru now, Prabhu?
Yeah. Where have you been, Ravinda Devi?
I always keep my ear to the curb, but I have not heard that one. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Congratulations on your advancement. I look forward to serving in whatever way possible, as you already know. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, yes. So they're like, where have you been?
Yes.
Actually, I try not to put all this stuff too much out, and it's just but since you asked about it, so this Tarun Gopal Prabhu over here, this is
Yeah.
Dheer Gopal Prabhu, and this is Murli Gopal Prabhu.
Yeah.
So Mugo, as his name is Mugo. So Mugo is basically just short from Murli Gopal. He didn't know that his whole life until now.
Oh.
Mugo, he's a physician. He actually studied under Kirti Dasundari Mataji. He's a doctor. Kirti Dasundari Mataji is a professor in medical school.
Wow.
So he's now a doctor.
Wow.
Tarun Gopal Prabhu is studying in college right now. It's psychology. And Dheer Gopal Prabhu is a full-time temple devotee in Nakuru. But I've known them since last year when I went there, and some more than a year now. And it's a real honor to play some part in their lives. So there's 6 devotees. That's Murli Gopal Prabhu. Then this is Ishwari Radha
Yeah.
Mataji. And let's see, Dheer Gopal. This is Dheer Gopal Prabhu.
Yeah.
It's amazing. All 6 are amazing devotees.
Gopal Prabhu ki jai.
And this is Divya Radha Mataji. She's a full-time temple resident in Nakuru as well.
Yeah.
Outstanding preacher, very educated. All the devotees are like educated and well-spoken. Yeah. So this is, and then of course Tarun Gopal Prabhu. Everyone picks on him. I picked on him to say all the 10 offenses, since he's the youngest. Now this Mataji here is Mansi Ganga Mataji. She's about 80 years old. She was one of my first gurus when I started joining. She was my first guide when I first started going in the early 90s, around 91.
She doesn't look her age at all.
No, she is very young looking because she's fully immersed in Prabhupada's service.
Wow.
Dedicated, So it was just quite a blissful experience overall.
Yeah.
The ladies are here. Yeah, so like you're saying, the locals.
Yes.
The locals, and I grew up there. I was born there, so I feel very connected to the devotees there. So there's a little clip where I'm speaking Swahili on the street. That's the clip I was looking for.
Yeah, that's what Madam Gail was talking about.
Yeah.
So you're actually African, as well as of course, Indian heritage.
I mean,
so
yeah, I was right. Indian heritage, but African. Like I had an African passport, African birth certificate, spoke the language, grew up in schools there, and so.
You were born there, also, correct?
That's right. I was born there. I was born in Kenya.
Yeah. It's like Americans call themselves Americans.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm naturalized American, but if you look at it from that point, I guess you can say I'm African American.
Yeah.
But not really, like ethnically. That's the thing with these labels. It's really hard to put labels on some of these. They're complex,
Vaikuntavasi is proper label.
Hare Krishna.
Sri Mukunda Prabhu, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think Sri Mukunda Prabhu wanted to say something.
Yes, please. Mukunda Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Yeah, I am I unmuted?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hare Krishna. My Dandavat pranams, Prabhuji, and Dandavats to all devotees. So I originally wanted to make a small comment about humility because I just did a question and answer session for some devotees on that topic. But having seen the glory of your preaching there in Kenya, it's fond memories for me because after we opened a temple in Zambia, so that was 80 something, 84, or maybe 83, 84. No, 84, 83 was Zimbabwe.
I think you met my grandfather there. My
What was his
grandfather,
name?
Mr. B.D. Rao. He was in Lusaka and Kitwe. That's my grandfather.
yes.
Yeah,
Really?
You met him, I know, because
Yes.
I think you were there with who else was there? I think Ekavira Prabhu was with you.
No, at the time,
Rajalila.
Brajalila had gone.
Brajalila, Brajalila.
Me and Brajalila had gone
Exactly.
to Lusaka.
Yeah.
We stayed with Mr. Patel, Radhe
Right.
Patel.
Sure. And they're
then we
close
met
with my
Mr. Rao. We
grandfather,
met Mr.
Mr.
Rao.
Rao. That's right.
Yeah. In fact, Mr. Rao if it's the same Mr. Rao, he was the one who helped us so much in terms of reestablishing, because
Yeah,
the society had undergone some difficulty
Yeah.
from the life membership thing and all of that.
yeah,
He
yeah.
helped us not only reestablish, but we stayed with him.
That's right. That's him, because even in Kenya,
Yeah.
when this temple was being built, he
Mhm.
donated substantially to the Nairobi one. Yeah.
Yeah, we stayed with him for some time because we didn't have a place really, and so forth. So wow, I have
Right.
to really, I'll tell Roger Leela about this also. But also, I had fond memories because, of course, we had to go and when our visas were near the end. So, Bhakti Tamar sent us to Kenya, and Gopal Krishna Maharaj was in charge then. So I did some preaching in Nairobi, but the Mombasa temple had just started. So I went to Mombasa, and we actually laid the foundation for that temple there in Mombasa. We did the ceremony and then stayed there for some time to help the temple get going. And I remember Gopal Krishna Maharaj asking that for myself and Brajali, you should stay here. You should find it very nice. So don't you like Mombasa? Beach is very nice. So he told Louis, Maharaj, it's not possible because I know Bhakti Maharaj is not going to agree to this. So we would have to go back to Zambia. But I had really fond memories. And then seeing that, and now anytime I see the preaching related to Africa, I feel so inspired because of just seeing how those seeds have become like the flowers and the fruit trees of those endeavors, and it's really
Yeah.
really pleasing to
No, it's
see.
amazing. Yeah, this was the College of Health Sciences that
Hmm.
Geeta Sundari Mataji organized, and we gave like an hour and a half lecture there. It was fun. These are devotees who came with us.
Wow, the
Yeah.
devotees came from America with you.
Yeah, so we have some America-based devotees here, and then
uh,
some of our local Kenyan devotees as
uh,
well.
uh-huh.
This is Tarun Gopal, Priya Govinda, Divya Radha, and these are from America. And then of course Sadhana Vriddhi Maji came from India. It's like that. Yeah, it was really quite yeah. Is so it has to be like, I'm hoping I can go every year. Let's see. It's just so rewarding to see, just to see. I mean, it's not like I'm contributing anything substantial, but it's to be inspired and to see how, Prabhupada's mercy cannot be held back no matter what. Nothing can hold back Prabhupada's mercy. I think Mukunda Prabhu, I met you way back. Was it '98 in Gitanagari? When
It may have been Prabhuji.
I think
It may have
Narayan
been.
Maharaj was touring around that time in Gitanagari.
90, yeah,
98
maybe
or
98
99.
because he came first in 96. I met Gurudev in
Probably it
86
seems
in
you have
Mathura.
a video playing or something like that.
Someone is playing a video?
Yeah. And nothing else will fit in that shape. You see? There is.
Oh, you have to share your screen.
It's
Sadhu
me.
Prabhu.
Sorry, it's me.
Yes. You have to share your screen if you want to share
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
That was the video that Kirtida Sundari Mata just shared. But there's on the YouTube channel. I think this is the YouTube channel. So there's all the Kenyan videos. Like I did some Japa retreat. It's all there on my YouTube channel. If you're interested, the trip to the Balram farm, all the reflection that people had, the Mangalartis, the home programs, they're all there on the channel. So if you're interested, you can. I'll just share one video on this list here on our chat, and you can see the rest of them there. Yeah.
It was a wonderful pilgrimage, Prabhuji. And with Mukunda Prabhu, there is no reason not to be excited because sometime in June of this year, we had a very wonderful and successful program discussing the genesis of Krishna consciousness in West Africa. And we all learned how much the pioneering devotees struggled to establish Krishna consciousness for a useless individual like myself to be benefiting and enjoying the fruits. So it's natural that Prabhuji will be excited to see that Krishna consciousness is flourishing in Africa in general. So thank you all for making it happen. And we hope that we can continue, build on it, and even make it bigger in the near future. Yes.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for doing this. Thank you for doing this this channel, Prabhu. It's really wonderful. Devotees are coming regularly. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Just one thing, Madan Gopal Prabhuji. So I normally travel for preaching every year. I came to Jersey, but the time was so short because we travel by driving. So I've always got to map out the road. So I promised Namras I'd do his podcast again. So I did
Right.
that, but I didn't have time to stay. But I wanted to look you up at that time and see if I'd have time to meet with you. But it was just the time was just so short.
Oh, it'll be
So
a real
so
honor to meet you, Prabhu. Yeah.
yes, I'm hoping that my trip this year is back towards the Midwest and Northeast, but certainly if I'm coming back in that area, if you come to Alatra, certainly you can come to visit my home. I would love to have your association, everything. Mhm.
Oh, that's wonderful. I didn't know you were based in Alachua. That's great. I do come there every now and then.
Oh yeah, wonderful. So if you come, you must come for lunch one day, and I can have your association.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Thank you.
Hari Bol.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. This is so beautiful and very exemplary. We thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare-
In fact, Madam Gopal Prabhu, we can't thank you enough for giving us your precious time, more than 130 minutes. It's lots of hours, lots of minutes. But we would like to run it up so that Prabhuji, you may go ahead and then engage in other important things you are always doing. Like Mitravinda Devi was saying, we can't thank you enough because we all need torchlight to see in the darkness. And I think it's Giriraj Swami Maharaj who wrote one book. It says, I think, something moons, like moons that Srila Prabhupada created. I've forgotten the title, but there's something in that respect, moons. So
Many moons.
many moons, yes. So
I want to share this one clip. Sorry. Is
okay,
that
go
okay?
ahead.
Can you share one clip? This is the one I was looking for. I finally found. This is the town of Eldoret, okay?
ambaye ni ya kutuonyesha sisi ni kina nani, uhusiano wetu na Mungu ni gani, na uhusiano wetu na hii dunia ni wa aina gani. So kama unataka knowledge ya hali ya juu, utembelee pale. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Kila mtu nataka furaha. Kila mtu nataka amani. Kila mtu nataka usalama. Kila mtu nataka kuamka na tabasamu. Ndio. Kama wewe unataka hiyo, fuata sisi. Tunaomba hii wimbo tunaomba Mungu. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Tunapata usalama, furaha na Mungu akubariki. Baraka. Amen. Hare Krishna.
Wow,
Hari Bol,
I
Prabhuji.
never knew you speak Swahili. Wow.
Yeah. But where is this town located toward from Mombasa or Nairobi?
This is
Where-
Eldoret. Eldoret is closer towards Kisumu.
Oh,
It's like
Kisumu, huh?
between Nairobi and Kisumu. It's in the highlands. That's where all the champions, the running champions, come from. Eldoret. It's called the town of champion. This is in the highlands.
Huh.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
It's
Wow.
yeah.
Sahadev, he's African. Of course he's going to speak Swahili. He did not sequester himself. He's a part of the environment. He knows people.
Yes. No.
If I speak English, it's-
Yeah, but they were trying to mix, it's still in the working process. They're trying to make Swahili the continental official language. I hope they can do that.
it's a good language because it's fairly universal. Even West Africans speak it. I know some in West Africa, not so much, but I do know some West African devotees who speak Swahili, which I found quite amazing. And Bantu is, of course, the core of Swahili, and Bantu is most widespread tribal base there. So, and then the other half is Arabic, so the rest of the world can also learn it pretty quickly. Yeah.
My Dandavats devotees, I'll have to take leave. I have to do the offering, but
Hare
my
Krishna.
Dandavats, wonderful to see you. Thank you, Sahadev Prabhuji. Dandavats, all devotees on.
Thank you
Radhe
so
Radhe.
much, Peter Prabhu, for stopping by and then bless us all with your association and wisdom.
Haribol, no, I'm blessed. Haribol.
Haribol. We have to get going as well. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Right. Prabhuji, we've taken so much of your time. We're going to still ask you for one thing. If you may give a concluding remark for this tantalizing Srimad Bhagavatam Katha today, and then we'll bring this to a close for today.
Hare Krishna, yes. So thank you for this opportunity. This particular verse is very thought-provoking. How, even though we have the rope in our nose, it seems like a harsh image, but it's actually an image of compassion and care and love by the supreme cowherd boy Krishna, who has many bulls and calves tied by the nose, but they love it. They love it. They love his hand on their heads, and we can be that as well. That let us respect and adore the direction of the Vedas, and let us give ourselves completely to the supreme cowherd boy, and we'll feel the love more than we've ever felt before. It's what we're missing. Let's dive wholeheartedly in this process and go back to God in this lifetime. Let's take it seriously, and let's take care of each other. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute yourselves, and we all with one heart, one love, chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our deepest appreciation and gratitude to His Grace, Madam Gopal Prabhu, for sharing His love and wisdom with us all today. Please, you may all unmute. Jai. Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakapurvyacha, Kripa Sindhuvevacha, Patitanam Parmebhyo, Devyo Namo Namaha.
Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Praise Madan Gopal Prabhu ki jai. Jagat Guru Param Prabhupada ki jai. Vaishnavi Devotee ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.